They took a $7 million business from me. I was wiped out. I had to go to charity, and I was the only black guy there. And I noticed each time that I got to the top, somebody shot me down.
What's the worst thing you have been accused of?
If you ever accuse me of doing something with a woman that's haram, if you accuse me of taking someone's money in the way that's haram, that's two things I will not forgive you.
There have been times where I've had that animosity, but I just feel like it was just having a negative impact on me, myself.
Mismanagement of money. Our money gave you that mention in Dubai.
I went to the judge in the court, and he said, "Why are you bringing him to court?"
He said that about
He said that to me.
About the oppressor.
There's nothing that is more bittersweet than the feeling of when you're going through absolute calamity and you just turn your heart to Allah.
I'm in the hospital. My wife is having a baby. She's in labor. Her water broke already. And they said, we will not take care of her until you pay us. I didn't have the money. I had no money. I'm like, what am I going to do? Boy, I don't cry, man. Tears rolled down my face that day.
Pardon the interruption, but in case you ever wanted to move to Dubai, I've got something very special for you. As you may be aware, myself and Abubakr moved to Dubai and Sharjah last year. It was one of the best decisions that we ever made for our deen, our families, and our businesses. Living here is amazing. You've got a masjid in almost every single street, unparalleled safety and security. You've got lessons from mashayikh and different teachers and students of knowledge in English and Arabic, and no income tax. Now, how do you move here? That's a question that you might be asking. Well, it can be tough if you don't know your way around things. Sometimes the companies that help you get visas here, they got hidden fees, long waits, big problems, resulting in visa rejections, a lot of wasted money and time. This is where Ansar Consultants comes into play. They helped us set up everything. No hidden fees, no long waits. They kept it simple and honest. I got my visa in less than a month. And these guys have a 100% track record helping brothers get their visa so far. 100% track record, that's insane. Allahumma barik. Now, if you're thinking of moving to the UAE, I recommend Ansar Consultants. They can even help you invest in properties here with a 100% Sharia compliant contract. So if you want a smooth move like we did, click the link below and check out Ansar Consultants. Now, back to the podcast. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Guys, welcome back to another episode of Chai with My Bai. We have our epic panel once again. To my right, we've got Sheikh Jamie Haytham, Brooklyn's finest, currently the crown king of Dubai when it comes to short-term and real estate. Allahumma barik. Barakallah feek. We've got Mr. Sam Amin, the Mughal of real estate. Allahumma barik, holding it down. And then we've got the supercar, superstar extraordinaire, Abubakr. How you doing, Akhi?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good.
MashaAllah. What are you driving today?
It's a little white car.
Lamborghini. Lamborghini. I was very impressed. It's off the books.
Matching the code, Allahumma barik. Allahumma barik.
What about yourself?
Me, I'm passenger.
No. As in who? Give a little.
I'm a guy with yellow shoes today. Yellow shoes, that's it.
Sam, introduce Imran for us.
Man, I think this will be the whole podcast, bro. You have to introduce Brother Imran.
Nah, forget me. We've got bigger things to talk about, man.
Big brother, mashallah.
Barakallah feek.
Mashallah.
So guys, man, no, but I'll be honest with you, the last 3 months have been a roller coaster in terms of what's been happening in the world. Like from a geopolitical angle. Like, I actually took pride in not knowing what's going on in the world, but I actually realized you actually can't be ignorant no more. So, subhanAllah, recently with DeepSeek coming out, and shaving off $3 trillion of the USA stock market value in like 24 hours, put the world in shock, man, right? In the fact that it was a group of entrepreneurs, crypto traders, not even entrepreneurs, like a bunch of crypto traders that apparently spent only $6 million to bring about something that's better and cheaper than ChatGPT.
And they open sourced it. Which, by the way, shows the degree of confidence, like, bro, here's the key. Like, we don't care. We're that good. We're that confident. Here's the key. Then also there's been a lot of talk about how actually the IDF has lost the war in Gaza, right? And all of this to me, bro, is just as indicative of one thing, man. Don't count out the underdog, man. Don't count out the underdog. What do you think, Sheikh? What are your reflections?
Everything is from Allah Azza wa Jal. And in his time, in due time, everyone will get their just due. And I just think what's happening in Israel right now, they're just getting their just due. And I think the biggest point in Israel, anytime you have to do on the ground fighting, this is when you lose the war. That's what happened to the Americans in Russia, in Afghanistan.
And Russia and Afghanistan too?
Yes, they took Russia out because once you have to hit the ground, that's when the war starts. You don't know our terrain. You don't know our tunnels. You don't know what we have underground. And so we start just picking off your fighters.
Guerrilla
And
warfare.
this is what happens.
So then, has America won? Like Vietnam, they lost 2. They lost a couple stuff in South America as well, if I'm not mistaken. They did actually end up winning in Iraq, right? I think it was in Mosul. They had
They
like
only win when they drop bombs on people, like in Hiroshima.
Okay.
That was a clear war that was won. Because they had to do an air attack because they would have lost on the ground.
That's when they officially became a superpower, right?
No,
that was the starting point.
Yeah.
That was the starting point.
So then, that's actually insane. Like these, you're absolutely right. Ultimately, you need infantry, right? Because the infantry are the ones who are going to actually go in and take control.
Right.
You're just bombarding things from the top. You can destroy infrastructure, you can set them back, but can't necessarily establish control. Like you can't plant the flag. So I don't know, man. You know, straight away, I was just thinking of the story of Dawood alayhi salam. Like this whole thing just spells Dawood alayhi salam to me, man. Like
David and Goliath.
David and Goliath, exactly, right? Like when Allah talks about the army, وَكَمْ مِنْ فِئَةٍ قَلِيلَةٍ غَلَبَتْ فِئَةً كَثِيرَةً بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. Allah said, how many times have there been very, very small armies and very small groups of people that managed to overcome massive armies? Underline the point, with Allah's permission. Then Allah said, Allah is with the patient.
Even Syria, you saw the same thing. 11 days, 10 days, the entire country fell.
And the thing is here is that this is not just relevant to like military circumstances. Like for me, I'm thinking the same thing with DeepSeek. Like bro, like a bunch of crypto traders.
Yeah.
Bro, we hang around with crypto traders sometimes, you know.
Right.
We got they're not like
The most business savvy.
the most business savvy guys by a long shot. But for these guys to come and create something where I remember America's actually been boasting, like I've seen it a lot over the last year, like all of the fundamental artificial intelligence projects are coming out of the USA. Name one country that's done this other than us. No, we're the leaders in this. And subhanAllah, man, AI is connected to warfare now. It's connected to health, heart surgeries are being done through AI. So much has been done through it. And China being actually the only country that's actually threatening.
Bro, there's
USA.
even a clip in India where Sam Altman was like on the stage. He must have been doing like an AMA or something. And one Indian businessman asked him a question, saying like, what would your advice be for, let's just say, this Indian company here, startup, wants to invest 10 million and, you know, work on a large language model? What would you? He was like, don't bother. That's my genuine advice is, you're never going to be able to do it. 10 million, this, that one, or
Wow. He said that.
Yeah, he said that. He goes, my sincere advice is don't bother. Like, there's no point. You won't be able to do anything. And these men have come. Allegedly, 6 million. There's people out there that are contesting it. But the point is, if they have done it, it's like, bro, you said it was impossible.
I mean, whether they did it with 6 million or not, number one, it's actually a better thing. It's actually a better model. Like I actually doubted it first.
Wow.
So you
got-
couldn't even sign up.
I doubt it.
Yeah, you couldn't even sign up
Yeah.
initially.
Yeah.
I doubted it, and I actually like ChatGPT. I trained my guy I trained him on Salafiyah. Sometimes he mentioned some bid'ah stuff to me. I think, bro, don't say that. Sometimes he mentioned something in shirk. I said, yo, akhi, this is shirk. You know, like I taught my guy. He said salam to me when I talked to him.
Right.
But no, actually, DeepSeek's better.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it's better.
Do you guys think, I think talking about underdogs, do you think the spirit is bigger and greater when you're an underdog? Even as an entrepreneur, bringing it back to entrepreneurship? Because sometimes, Sheikh, I see people getting comfortable as they get bigger and better versus the small guy who just started. For him, it's a mountain to climb. And for you, you're thinking you're at the peak. So you just get comfortable and complacent.
Yeah, you know what it is also? I think in the, what's it called? Parkinson's law comes into play. Where it's like, if OpenAI, if Trump says, I'm going to give you 500 billion, in their mind, they're going to allocate 500 billion towards it. But if you have to bootstrap it from scratch, they could probably do something similar with way less money. I think it was in Profit First. The guy mentioned the story of a woman, right? She had she had a mentor or something about sales, closing people at events.
Yeah, 8%.
And then the guy said, she asked him, how much do you close? He said 80%. She was like, okay, cool. So she started off, I think first time she did like 10%, 5%. She kept trying to improve. And she managed to get from up to 50%. 50% of the people attending this conference, she would close them to her product or service at the end. Then she managed to get up to 60, 65, 70, 75. But she could never hit 80. So then one day she came across the guy again, a few years later now. It's been a while. She's still closing at 75%. She goes to him, I want to ask you, like, how did you get to 80? Like, I'm stuck at 75. I'm trying to get to 80. What? He said, 80. I said, 18. 18%.
Wow.
Where'd you get 80 from? She said, oh. Meaning, the point being, once you limit yourself in your mind, okay, 18%, she would have just aimed for 18. Which you hit 18, she'll be like, that's sick.
It's like the 4 mile minute, basically, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Exactly. Just like breaking that barrier in your mind.
Here's one of the things, man. I want to throw a whole monkey wrench in this thing, right?
Go for it.
Okay, crypto money runs long. These guys who came up with 6 million, they could have raised 300 million, right? These crypto guys are some of the weirdest guys I've ever met, right? And they are. I hope none of you guys are crypto guys.
No, we're not.
okay.
I wouldn't label myself as crypto guy, but we
I'm just joking, Sheikh. I'm just joking, Sheikh. Most crypto guys are anti-government.
Anti-establishment.
Anti-government.
Anti-establishment, yeah.
They don't care. They will throw a shot at you, whoever it is. And it makes no difference because they are anti-formalization. They're radical. They're trailblazers, right? Suppose they did this to drop the market, to buy low and then let it go up again.
Possibly.
Right? And all this media hype that we're getting from it was just to drop the market.
That would be very smart.
They do it a lot.
Yeah, they do these things.
You know?
With like these meme coins and right, pump and dump.
Basically, that GameStop thing that happened,
Yeah.
right? The stocks.
But I'm saying, but even if they do that, the point of the underdog is still there.
Yep.
As in,
The fact that it was
a bunch
possible.
of a bunch
I'm
of
saying.
guys.
Underdog took the market
Right.
down.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you experienced that whole thing of being against all odds, being in a situation where
Me, yeah, I feel that way. I feel that way as being, and y'all know me, man. I'm just being who I am as a African American. I always felt people were against me, and it drove me. So that was the driver for me. Like, I'm gonna show you, right? And since I hate education, I wasn't going to do it through going to get a master's or PhD. I was gonna show them through business, through my mind. I love out tricking other people who doubt us. You get me? The
Can you share a moment?
minority doesn't have to be black.
Can you share a moment?
What's that?
A moment where you outsmart
Oh yeah,
someone?
yeah. A lot of times I've worked with in some of the biggest real estate companies, and I was the only black guy there. And I noticed each time that I got to the top, somebody shot me down. His team were the ones to tell a lie to him. Took a company from me that I owned. He didn't even own it. I just used his name just out of, because he treated me like a son, right? And I knew what the fundamental reason was, right? It wasn't that I was just making too much money. It was who I was from the beginning. And they did something one day in a meeting and I got aggressive. So I believed that I fit that stereotypical black guy, right? And I said, we got to get this guy out of here. And got me out of there. Took my company from me, right? And this is not something, I think this is what it is, because people think I'm an educated black guy with money. So I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I'm just saying if I say it, it happened. And that's what it is. The guy who is not doing well, he's going to use that as an excuse. Whoever he is, whatever minority, he's not just talking about blacks, anybody. He's going to use that as an excuse. Oh, the powers that be are against me. I didn't believe the powers that be are against me because I move not worrying about the powers that be, only Allah Azza wa Jal.
So,
If I'm meant to get there, I'm going to get there through Allah, right? But I just believe that I'm unstoppable because I always travel under the radar until I get there because you don't expect it from me. You get what I'm saying?
there's a term for that. It's called the grey man. The grey man.
Okay.
Someone who just blends in until the very and make it to the very end. They use it in SAS. In SAS training, what they're looking for is the grey man. They don't want someone that's just very loud, blasé, and they want someone that sticks out. They want someone that just blends in any situation, any circumstance, until the time is required, and then they shine.
So, quick questions. Do you feel like then being African American then worked in your advantage?
It works to my advantage, yes.
Because people underestimate.
Interesting.
They underestimate me.
Because then, because I've sat with some brothers that might say it works against them.
Those,
So, what would be your advice to them then?
that's the mind of a loser. And when you have Allah Azza wa Jal with you, how can you believe that some man can stop you from doing what you want to do?
SubhanAllah.
You can't stop me, right? You can't stop me. And after I did it once, I really had momentum after that. I'm like, if I did it once, I could do it again. When they did that to me, they took a $7 million business from me. I was wiped out. I had to go to charity.
SubhanAllah.
I had to go to charity. I took the 20,000 dirhams they gave me, rials, and I used it. It was for my kids, because when I went to charity, they were going to help me. They were helping me, paying me every month, understanding what had happened. And so the last check they gave me was 20K. I was supposed to use it to put my kids in school, and I opened a business with it, and I'm here now.
Allahumma barik.
Because I said, I'll never see these people again. I'm going to take this 20,000. It was misappropriated, but I didn't want to go back again. I said, if I don't do this, I'm going to be in the same position.
Subhanallah.
You know, so that's me, my personal story.
Barakallah
You
feek.
know, but I never use it as an excuse for failure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if that didn't happen, that I thought it was the worst time of my life, but I wrote in a journal that this is the worst time of my life, but in a few years, I'll be talking about the triumph. You know what I mean? So it wasn't a loss for me. It was a win, because I'm worth triple what I was worth back then. So if someone had told me that I would have to go through what I went through at that time to get to where I am now, then let's do it.
Allahumma barik.
All
You
day,
know?
every day.
So, alhamdulillah.
What about you, Sam?
Alhamdulillah. What was the question, Sheikh?
Situations where you've been the underdog and you've come
Yes,
out the
I
other
think-
Give me something like that.
Yeah, I think, Sheikh, I enjoy being the underdog. You know, sometimes I miss being the underdog. You know, I think you lose the edge when you're not the underdog. So I think for me, the challenge right now, and I think that's what I was alluding to in the beginning, is how do I put myself back into situations where I am the underdog? You know, because I feel like now people think, oh, he's already made it. He doesn't need it. He's the big guy. And, yeah, you know, you just lose the edge. Sometimes you become complacent. And sometimes the other guy might have more spirit than you, right? Because he is the underdog. So for me, the challenge right now is, because I missed the days in 2013, 2014, literally no one knew me in Detroit. You know, literally no one came from New York to Detroit with $40,000 in personal debt and $20,000 in credit card debt and credit score at 424. Right now, alhamdulillah, my credit score is 870 plus. Like if I open my American phone and email, they want to just give out loans to me, to my businesses, because my credit score is so good. So you are not the
Which
underdog.
obviously you don't do because of...
Yes,
anybody.
alhamdulillah. But you're not the underdog anymore. Everybody wants to give you the money. Everybody wants to do the business with you. And now from 2014 to 2024, from our brokerage side, there's so many agents that started, alhamdulillah, they were underdogs with me. Now they look at me like, oh, he's too big. He's in Dubai. He's international. He's doing this. He's doing that. You know what I'm saying? So they don't feel it anymore. So
But you know what's beautiful? Sorry to interrupt you.
Sure.
What's
Go ahead.
beautiful there is, because you're leveling up the playing field that you're on. It's like you know like when you play a game like Call of Duty, you can choose which difficulty you want to play. Right?
Yes.
There's easy mode and there's this and there's veteran, which is like the hardest one, where you just start within 5 seconds, you're dead. Like, so I feel like people, they look at you and they think, this guy's up here because you've ascended, Allahumma barik, up the ladder, all these verticals in the business. But at the same time, you started new playing fields, like for example with the whole development thing.
Yes.
In development game, you're an underdog.
Nothing. Yes.
This
I'm
is
not.
you got one building that you're developing. There's companies like Emar, Damak, Benghati, and all these other companies
One in the UAE.
Yes.
that are huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are the underdog here, but that's because you're always ready to take things to the next level. A lot of people, once they reach a certain height, for them it's like I want to be the top boy. Everyone wants to be the top boy. If I go now in a new vertical, I have to start from scratch again.
Absolutely.
I have to be the underdog again.
Yep.
You're seeking that out.
Yeah.
That shows true grit, determination. Same way he said, if I can do it once, I'm gonna do it again and again and again.
Absolutely.
For other people say, I did it once. Alhamdulillah, I did it. I did it.
Yeah.
Mama made it. I did it. But the point is, you just have to be ready to go to the next level. Start from scratch again.
Yeah,
Next level.
that
start
brought
from
smile
scratch
to
again.
me, man. This is now we got a Goliath. Yeah, no, seriously, alhamdulillah, this is great, brother. I think without realizing, you reach plateaus in life, and I think Sheikh, all of us can relate to that. You reach plateaus in life, and for some people, if you're not settling in that plateau, if you wanted that level and you're happy with that, that's great. But sometimes, without knowing, we're settling down instead of choosing to be there. Does that make sense? Just because, like, when we reached that plateau, we tried to climb up higher. It was difficult, and we're like, let's just settle back in where I am. This is something I don't want people to do. This is something I don't want myself to do. If I choose to be there, I'll just be there. I don't want to settle down there. Oh my God, I tried development. It's so tough. I just be me, what I'm doing, I'm good. You understand, Sheikh? I want to make a conscious choice. Like, I'm good. I want to spend more time with the family. I'm happy with what I'm doing. chilling. But we cannot settle down just because we failed. I think we have to be conscious of that.
Yeah. But you're young, man. You have a serious upside.
Alhamdulillah.
And me knowing you, you know, you have a serious upside, man. So tell me the story when you're 60. Guys, you'll be the Imam, inshallah.
Inshallah.
I'm about it.
Like, you know, as you guys are talking, man, it's actually taking me back because I'm thinking about the days when there was actually what's the word? There was actually a whole organized attempt to try to
Take you down?
completely
I can
destroy
imagine.
me. Yeah.
Stop, bro.
Yeah. There was subhanallah. I remember one day, it actually dawned on me. I actually am the most hated guy
On the
out
internet?
of all the Muslims on the
Yeah.
internet today.
Yeah.
I was being attacked by Christians, Jews, atheists, and all different sects of the Muslims, even people that claim to be Salafi, all at the exact same time. I remember there was a time, wallah, if you type my name in Twitter, and I'm not on Twitter, even though I think I have an account there. I don't ever look it up, but I would go every now and again just type my name, bro. It was
Crazy.
Bro, it was vicious.
Wow.
And even now, I'm looking back, I'm thinking, bro, only Allah, like a man to see that stuff and then just to keep going to war every day. And that's how I used to see it. I used to just see it as I'm going to war every day, alhamdulillah. And things just got worse and worse. And like I actually had some, people that I was very close to, basically just, it got long. Oh,
SubhanAllah.
I can't, the whole story is deep. I'm just giving you guys sound bites.
So what do you do, Sheikh? It's like you're talking to me.
Yeah.
What do you do in that situation? Or even for Brother Jamie, the question, do you just ignore? When do you decide this is time to attack back?
The old me would have ignored. The new me was thinking, part of me mentioning it here publicly is part of me taking action.
The art of the deal, Sheikh.
Yeah.
Like, part
We're
of me.
all on art of the deal.
And no, honestly, it's a situation where I don't want it to get messy. But Zakhi, my life has been messy.
Right.
It's been nothing but messy. Like, it is what it is, so.
If I may ask a question, Sheikh, so what's the worst thing, I'll ask, start with Brother Jamie or whoever wants to chime in. What's the worst thing you have been accused of? I'll answer myself too, but I want to hear you guys.
For me, Akhi, it's two things. If you ever accuse me of doing something with a woman that's haram, if you accuse me of taking someone's money in a way that's haram, that's two things I will not forgive you. Akhi, I've forgiven everyone who's ever said anything bad about me. But if you accuse me of doing something with a woman, and if you accuse me of taking someone's money illegitimately, that is one thing that it's long for you, bro. Like as in, yeah. Those two things.
Wow.
Yeah,
He's
those-
better than me because I don't make
Any exceptions?
I don't take exceptions and I take no prisoners.
No
if you
prisoners.
do something to me, I'm making dua against you.
Yeah,
Wow.
subhanAllah.
Straight up.
I don't because you know better. You know better. I've had this happen to me, and I've also I read something. I don't know if it was Sheikh Amin or what Sheikh had said, like because I used to make dua every day against people. Like
Wow.
if you just did something, like the people who did what they did to me, if I could make dua against, which you shouldn't, if I could make dua against them till now, I'll continue to make dua that they feel what I felt during that time. Now, I do also remember, I also know that there may have been something, this empty hand is from Allah. Maybe I did something. I always kept that in my mind first. What did I do to deserve this? I did something. I feel I did something for Allah to do this to me. You get me? And I stayed on that. Okay, they oppressed me, but who did I oppress to get to this position? To this day, I believe I oppressed someone, and I was oppressed on the level that I oppressed that person.
That's a powerful way to look at it.
Right? So, like Imran saying that he's better than me. I still keep Brooklyn in me. I'm Muslim now, but there's certain things in me that I am not going to let go. When you do something to me, it's okay. When you do something to my family, I can't let it go. But one of the things I do know is that you cannot continue to make dua against people over what they've done to you. You get me? Like you can't continuously just keep making dua against somebody because someone somebody pushed me in the pool. I want him to die. You know what I mean? You can't make dua. You make dua equivalent to what has happened to you, right? And I might be wrong with this, Sheikh, but this is what I remember reading about not overly making dua. Even though you're oppressed with something, you make your dua against the individual and you leave it. But for me, you know, just it may be something that's embedded in me, like that. It's not anger. It might be animosity that I will hold toward that person for oppressing me the way that they did. Grown-ups know better. I can't forgive you for that. I'm not going to be I will not be in sujood during Qiyamul Layl saying Allah forgive him for what he did to me. I'm just not. Other brothers are better than me. That's not where I'm at now. And it's best to leave me alone, really. Because I can't fight you with these. This is not jahiliyyah where we're going to do something with this. But I do have a tongue, and I do have adhkar, and I do have sujood. And that's how I'm going to fight you. I never lost. I always tell people, since I made hijrah 23 years ago, I never had a dua that wasn't answered except staying in Saudi Arabia. That was the only dua that I made, and it wasn't answered.
Yet.
And
Yet.
I don't want to go back now at this point right now. And I will go back, but not right now. Till I see how things unfold there. For me and my family, I would probably go back to Medina. But
it could have been answered by Allah replacing it with this. Sometimes Allah replaces what you ask for.
I think where I'm at now, and I was able to help more people. In the position that I'm in right now, I'm able to help Muslims. You know, and hopefully this is you know, the trials that I went through. Hopefully, it's purification in this life, and I don't pay for whatever I've done to people, you know, in the hereafter. I prefer it now than later on, right? You know, so, but that's always in the back of my mind when something happens to me. What did I do to somebody to deserve it? And I leave it there, you know.
It's
but
very powerful.
When it does happen to me, I'm not letting you off the hook for that. You know, I'm not letting you off the hook.
Do you take prisoners?
You know what it is? I don't actually know. Like, I feel like, as you mentioned, you know what it is? There have been times where I've had that animosity, but I just feel like it was just having a negative impact on me, myself. I was like, I didn't want that. So I thought, you know what? Just let it go completely, you know? But it's hard, as you said, bro, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you just feel like...
It depends. It depends on the situation that you're in and how deep it is and what actually happened to you. So when I see a guy, I remember my whole family crying. Like, why did they do this to us? What happened?
I can think about
it. I can't. It's difficult for me not... I can't, as a Muslim, I can't fight another Muslim, but I feel that inside, like, this guy...
So you're saying you stop making dua for them, but you still feel that in your heart?
It'll never leave. I don't think it'll ever leave my heart. What happened? You have to be in that situation where I couldn't eat. Like, really. I mean, look, it was only from Allah.
Even the Prophet ﷺ, right?
With Wahshi.
When Wahshi, as in he forgave him because he accepted Islam, but he said, I can't sit with you.
I don't want to see your face.
Yeah, he didn't. The Prophet ﷺ didn't sit with him because obviously he killed Hamza, right? No, I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes, Sheikh. Like, having done hijrah, you with your whole family, you finally built something, Allah better. You built a 7-figure business, mashallah.
That's one takes it.
After like, I don't know, like 17, 18 years, and then
it took me 4 years to do that.
4 years. But since you've done hijrah though.
Since 4 years, since hijrah, at that time, yeah, it might have been about 15, about 17 years at that point.
Right, and then boom, someone just takes it, and then you're having to take charity, and you go, your family, bro, that's painful, bro.
Yeah, and then what he said, remember what he said? The worst thing that could happen to him is someone said something. So when they took it, what's the first thing they said? Sent out pretty much an APB that I was messing with women.
Oof. APB as in like a broadcast.
And my wives, and then my wife, she overheard it. And I'm like sitting there like, what do you say? You know what I mean? Like, what do I say? And they knew it wasn't true, you know? But imagine, I had people writing me, but this is what they said. Remember I said something about the poor man has no power? And at that point, doing very well, but I'm nobody yet now. Like to them, to the eyes of the people. And I'll never forget one former employee said, "But they said you did it. You had to do it."
Because they were wealthy.
Because they said it. Because whoever's look, I remember
People in the comments didn't realize you were talking from experience.
right.
Some people took it as maybe you're looking down on the
No,
comment.
no,
you're
I'm talking
the
from
angle of
experience.
having
I
been
didn't have that power. I've been in that position where I went to the judge in the court, and he said, "Why are you bringing him to court?" Because I put out, I went to court regarding it to try to take this guy to court, and the judge asked me. He said, "He's a good man. Why are you bringing him to court?"
He said that about
He said that to me.
About the oppressor.
About the oppressor. Wow.
You know, so you're in those situations. You know, I speak from experience. I don't speak just off the top of my head things I saw. I keep my mouth shut about what I saw because I don't believe much of what I see. But I've gone through it. You know, it's like being at work as an employee. The general manager makes more money than you. He has a right to say whatever he wants to you. Says who? But he does it.
So
He does it.
Sam,
The little man.
he's quiet, but I can see his brain is reliving experiences.
Just learning.
His facial, no.
Just learning.
There's something deep that's.
what have you been
I can
accused of?
see from his facial expressions that he's reliving some of his experiences.
A
guys.
lot of experience.
This is therapy, man. Let it out.
This
bro.
is literally therapy.
This is
No, I
therapy.
can't just listen to you guys, brothers, talking and just be in therapy session.
No, you know what it is? Firstly, I have to say, you know, we started off this podcast with our best friends in the UK. And every episode became a therapy session. It was only like that because of how close we were and how comfortable we felt. And I actually feel that with you guys. Otherwise, I would never open up just the way that I did.
SubhanAllah.
And I just want to say, man, I appreciate the...
Nah, I appreciate
Well,
you.
of course,
man.
Yeah,
I didn't know
appreciate
that's
you.
what you're going through, man.
Yeah, no, bro, I'm cool. Alhamdulillah. Wallah, I'll be honest, it hit me for a day and then I was
Yeah.
like...
Oh man, but he got back up.
Alhamdulillah.
You know, so
Alhamdulillah.
doesn't make a difference now.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
You know,
Didn't forget. So the same thing. I think mismanagement of money. You're basically, our money gave you that mention in Dubai, you know, or mismanaged. You know, like you mismanaged our money, and through that, like you got this in Dubai, or you're doing this in Dubai. And I just I didn't show it to you brothers yet, but right after Maghrib Salah, like when I was coming out, I was just checking on my email, and there's an email basically on that same topic that we were discussing, accusing of the same. You know what, Sheikh? It's so, and I'll show it to you guys, but what's so funny in a way, the people who do business with you for 10, 12, 13 years, and these are Fortune 100 executives, you know, they have nothing but great thing to say, and they're still doing business with me, you know, but people who do business with you for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, it's so much easier for them to jump to conclusion, you know? So this is, I think with every level, there's a new devil. And you just have to learn how to deal with that devil, right? Because right now, the devil is social media for me, you know, because all this time, I was insulated in a way where I'm not on social media. Now that it's stories, posts, hanging out with this guy, that guy, I think a lot of hasad, man.
Akhabi, you know this jealousy thing?
Yeah.
I think it took me 8 years. And I'm not trying to say I'm a righteous person. Wallahi, I'm not. I know myself. But one thing I think I don't understand this jealousy thing. Like to the level, I didn't believe it was to the extent that it is.
Yeah.
For 8 years, because that's just not how I was. I don't look at people
You're
like.
not wired that way.
I might look and think, well, I wish I had that, but not without wishing he didn't.
He didn't. Why
But-
does he have that?
Yeah.
Is not your question.
And sometimes you might have that little feeling, maybe that little pinch comes, but not to the level where I'm like, I want to see it. I want to work to his downfall. But that's gay, bro. Like that's some homo behavior, bro. That's. I have no better way to
You're gonna
explain
get us
it.
canceled.
Am I allowed to say that?
I mean, here you are, yeah.
Yeah,
Not
There
UK
you are,
anymore.
that's right.
I'm saying that's some. No, but that's some.
Next level stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why, on just to bring it back to business on that, that's why I always teach myself and everyone, never rely on one client or one source of referral. Right, Shep? You agree? Because they feel like they own your business. It's very important to have your pipeline like spread out. So nobody feels like, okay, his payroll, even if you're an entrepreneur, it's investors' money or someone's money, somebody's investing in you, right? Or your customers, whoever it is. So never make one client have more than 50% of your business, or never have one investor investing like 50% of more than 50% of your portfolio. Then they'll feel like you're indebted to them. They own you. And then what's the point of becoming an entrepreneur after that, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I always say that. I always tell people, look, when you start to take on investors, and we have investors,
yes,
right? You become an employee.
Yeah.
You're just a rich employee. That's all. Because you have to listen to your investors.
You have to answer to the investors.
Yeah.
Very good you bring that topic, Sheikh. This is what sometimes cringes me, and I don't know if you agree or disagree, Sheikh. Like when people say, I'm my own boss. But if you're taking investors' money, you're not.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
You're not.
No, you're not.
Even like this, billions and billions of dollars of companies, they have shareholders meetings. They have to answer to the board. And the board has to answer the investors,
right.
So you have to answer to someone if you're taking investors' money.
That's actually one of the reasons why Zarir, when he mentions about fundraising and raising capital, he says go to many different people, friends, family, and raise 1,000 from 100 people rather than 100,000 from one person. Because if you get 1,000 from 100 people...
Basically do crowdfunding.
Yeah. And look, that obviously presents its own problems and
yes,
it has its own pros and cons. But from this angle, instead of just one guy saying, bro, like, what are you doing? Most people they're not going to care. It's $1,000, but I'll give it to you. If I'm up, I'm up. If I'm down, I'm down. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But you don't have that, someone breathing down your neck. What's happening? Where's the returns and this and all these, all these issues. But yeah, that's one of the reasons that he mentions.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
To do that,
I agree with that. Yeah.
What was the point she made regarding?
You're thinking something now, Sheikh. You're in that like deep like.
You guys took me back, I have to be honest with you. Took me back.
Yeah.
Wallah, it's been.
This podcast is like very therapeutic.
Yeah. No, it's not
For all of us.
For all of us,
For all
we're
of
just
us,
thinking.
dude.
It's been war, Wallah. It's been war.
Yes.
It's been war, and we're still fighting. Alhamdulillah.
Still standing.
Now imagine, Sheikh, like going back to the examples that you brought, like what happened, the war situation, Middle East situation, countries, presidents, the pressure they go through. I just sometimes think that. Or even Prophet ﷺ went through, the Sahabas went through. This was life and death, man. For us, we're insulated, we're safe. What's the worst that could happen? We're still going back to our wives and kids.
I'll tell you something.
That's actually a very deep point.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that is more bittersweet than the feeling of when you're going through absolute calamity and you just turn your heart to Allah.
Yeah.
Wallahi, there's no feeling that's more bittersweet than that.
SubhanAllah.
The bitterness comes from the pain, but there's something so addictive and beautiful about just, Ya Allah,
Yeah.
I need help.
Yeah.
And only from you.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
It's like Mahdi mentioned, innit? That Allah will take you on that Ramadan with Manu that we did with him. Allah will take you all the way to the edge of the cliff. So you're just hanging on with one finger, and at that point, at the very last point, that's when he'll pull you up. It's your job to just keep holding on. A lot of people, they end up letting go, they fall into the pit of despair.
Right.
But you just have to make sure you're holding on. Allah will pull you out when the time is right.
I think it's important for people to write down when they're facing a calamity.
Because otherwise you
Always
forget.
write down what happened, right? I remember when rent was due the first day, and my check is gonna bounce if the money is not there. How many times did the money go into my bank account? Somehow I got the money.
Allah, man. Always.
You know,
Yeah.
Always.
you know, you make your dua, and I would just, of course, that nervousness is still in me, but I'll make dua, be like, I'm leaving it with Allah. Whatever happens, happens. I always got it, whatever it was.
Because you're still taking the action.
You're taking the action, and you're not just waiting for it to come from the sky. You're moving, trying to get it done. It would always, I give you, man. One time I was in the hospital, and I'm sorry to go off topic.
No.
I'm in the hospital, and my wife is having a baby, and they said, we will not give you the money. We will not take care of her until you pay us. I was like, I thought we paid y'all when we gave you the amount of money. It was $3,000, Saudi German hospital. So we're not doing anything until you move. I didn't have the money. I had no money. I'm like, what am I gonna do? There wasn't a cheaper hospital when you don't have money. That wasn't the case. I had did a deal probably a few months. Me and a guy was just talking about it, and right at the end, when they were telling me to take her home, my bank account, ding. Wallah al-Azim, Allah is a witness to what I'm saying. They were telling me to take her home. She's in labor. Her water broke already.
Wow.
And my phone did ding.
Allah.
And boy, I don't cry, man. I don't cry. And I'm not saying I got a hard heart. So many things has happened. My crying is gone. You know, I'll hurt inside, but tears don't come. Tears rolled down my face that day. The baby wasn't as important as what just happened, because this could have been dangerous for her. And she was having a very difficult pregnancy, and the money was there. I couldn't believe. I just broke down and cried, because so many. We really need. I wish I can have a moment like that with Allah daily, so that I stay away from Maasi, I stay away from sinning and stuff, because those are the moments where you're like, yo, did you forget that Allah is here? He exists, and He'll help you out of every situation. You know what I mean? And so this just increases your tawakkul, and it increases your iman. And it's a shame that we forget this.
That's why I think, going back to your point, it's important actually to write down.
I write it down. I write everything down. From 16 years ago, I still got it.
So you remember?
Huh?
You write it down for that reason, so you remember?
Because you have to go back to these things. I remember when my niece kicked me out her house, right? So she could stay with her boyfriend, A'udhu Billah. And I was her protection. So he spoke to her. Whatever he said to her, she was like, look, you got to leave. I had no place to go. This is back in maybe late 1990s, right? And she kicked me out. I rode the train for a couple of nights, just going back and forth. And I told my guy, yo, look, this is what happened. He told the owner, of course I'm making dua, and I still have the journal from this back in 97, 98. And he told the owner what was going on. The owner gave me a job at a place that I was volunteering for 6 months, just trying to, work with these people so that I can, I can get a job, because I was jobless at the time. So I was like, look, it's better than running the streets, just go and work with these people, And she kicked me out. 2 days later, I had a job, and I've been working in real estate ever since. That was my first job in real estate. So Allah is most kind, So when you go through these things, man, it's like, this is all a piece of cake. It's really, you're going to get through it. You worry about the other people that's going through it with you. It's more.
Yeah, it's like going to the gym. Like when you feel that pain when you're exercising, but it's to build muscle.
Yeah,
only
man,
makes you
you
stronger.
break out
right?
in muscles, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's weird, because not that, the Prophet always told us to make dua for al-afwa wal-afiyah, for protection, and not to ask for calamities or anything like that. But you do kind of feel sorry for the people that haven't been through the school of hard knocks, because they're weak. They're weak.
Yeah.
But what's worse though? Would you say a person that doesn't go through calamity and carries on living life, or a person who goes through calamity and crumbles?
Say that again?
What would you say is worse? You said you feel sorry for people that don't go through calamities because they don't have that experience. But then there's people that do end up going through calamities, but they end up taking the left turn.
All I know is Allah wouldn't test you to the
So
point where you'd have to crumble. You crumbled because Allah,
crumbled,
Allah would never test you to crumble.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I feel like that's worse.
Crumbling, Allahu alam, but
Crumbling is worse, you say?
Than not having a test. Some people, they don't
not
have a test
everyone's
at
got
all.
a test, bro. But they're crying over
They make it look too easy.
over female things,
Yeah, it's difficult for me to be around people who haven't tasted those losses.
We're not battle tested.
They didn't have those losses.
Yeah.
You have to, to rock with me, you have to have had those losses. I can feel it, and we have more rahmah than the average person. Because you don't understand. I look at brothers like, I've been there, man.
Yeah.
Don't think I've been there. What you need, you know what I mean? Because half the time there was no one there to, throw us a life, throw us a life jacket, and we're in a position to do that now. Sometimes, man, I do it quickly because I've swum with the sharks before, so I understand.
What used to take years and maybe even decades takes few phone calls now. So we're so blessed, man.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
Alhamdulillah.
yeah.
I
Literally.
think the Iman element also definitely plays a massive part.
100%.
Yeah,
Because it's like
no
if you
doubt,
don't have
no
that
doubt.
element, as you said, Allah doesn't burden us soul with more than it can bear. You know, what's to come is better than what's already gone. With hardship comes ease.
Yeah.
There's so many, but like for a lot of people, these are just quotes they just put on their WhatsApp story, but they don't actually internalize them in their like
Right,
disposition. It's not like part of your life. Otherwise, whenever you went through any hardship, you just take it in your stride.
Right.
Take it in your stride.
You know, I was listening to a sheikh. He was talking about tawakkul a few, like 2 weeks ago, and on that point, he said there are 3 realities connected to tawakkul that you need to know, because these are just like, this is a matter of fact. If you absorb it, it will change your life. He said, number 1, وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Whoever relies upon Allah, Allah will suffice him. This is a matter of fact. If you rely upon Allah, He will suffice you. He will take care of you. Number 2, Allah loves those who rely upon Him. These are just matters of fact. Inna Allah yuhib al-mutawakkin. Wallah yuhib al-mutawakkin. Allah, He loves those who rely upon Him. This concept of tawakkul, even I realize, because I'm looking back at my life, right? Especially over the last couple of weeks a lot, and even in this podcast, I'm thinking even that is something that's trained. Like, you know, even these actions of the heart, they are trained. Like, patience is not something that you get overnight. It is trained. Tawakkul is trained and it gets stronger. Yaqeen, certainty in the promise of Allah, and is something that's trained. It's trained. And calamities is the thing that, you know, is one of the best training grounds for that stuff, man.
Yeah, sure.
But the thing is, you have to be environments that are gonna be religious to be able to make sure that when you fall into those situations, you get those reminders. Like sometimes, you know, I've been in that situation where it's going to hell, but then you just hear an ayah that you already knew, or a hadith that you already knew. You just hear it and you're like, ah, it's like,
Hits you different.
Yeah. Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
And you just feel like a muppet because you're just like, bruv, I should have, like, what was I doing?
Right.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. A brother came to me. I was at one entrepreneurship event. Never gonna go back again, but I was there, and one brother came up to me. He's like, "Oh, I've got this tech startup and this that. Can you give me an advice, please?" Because he's struggling. He's like, you know, operations, everything's crumbling in my mind. I'm thinking, bro, you have no idea what business stress looks like. He said, please, can you give me an advice? Can you give me a book? Can you give me a quote, a statement, something that would just stick with me? Well, I said, you want something, yeah? So I went close to his ear. I said, listen to what I'm going to say and register. I said, I'm not saying this is a facade. I'm not saying this because it's the thing. Wallahi, this is tested through life. This is the one thing. وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَالِغُ أَمْرِهِ قَدْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدْرًا. He was Egyptian, he understood, his eyes went teary straight away. I said, whoever fears Allah, Allah will find a way out for him. He could be trapped, the building is burning, Allah will open the door. وَيَرْزُقُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Allah will provide from him from a place that he never, ever imagined.
That's right.
Whoever relies upon Allah, Allah is going to take care of it for him. إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَالِغُ أَمْرِهِ. And whatever Allah wants will happen. Allah will reach His decree. He will make what He wants happen. What He wants to happen, it will happen. But this is the part. قَدْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدْرًا. But Allah has made an appointed time for everything. It's gonna happen. It's when Allah set that time, then you'll see it. Yeah, subhanAllah.
So
So,
if Allah can part the sea for Musa alayhi salam, He can cool the fire for Ibrahim alayhi salam. You think you can't sort out your rent money? If you think you can't sort out your exam situation, your job, like unemployment, like bro, come on, man. These things are like small.
you know,
in the grand scheme of things.
I had this conversation with my sheikh recently. I don't know, maybe you guys can see that. In my mind, I'm going through something because this stuff is fresh.
Let it out, bro. Let it out.
I was reading the names of Allah, Al-Awwal and Al-Akhir, the first and the last. So Imam Ibn Qayyim has got the most beautiful research on these names, the first and the last. So there's a theological discussion about the names, and obviously the correct view is the view of the Salaf, but there's also a very like spiritual thing to these names. So what he mentioned is that Allah is the first. He's before everything you achieved. He's also after the things you achieved. So the thing that you achieved, you couldn't have achieved if Allah, number one, didn't decree for you to achieve it, if He didn't give you the tawfiq to achieve it. Right? So actually nothing's from you. It's all tafaddulan min rahmatih. It's all a gift from Him. These are all gifts. And it's the biggest proof of that is that you exist not by virtue of your wanting to exist, your trying to exist. You didn't exist. You were non-existent, and Allah, out of His virtue, decreed for you to exist. He said it's like that for everything in your life. And then He said, if you're smart, you'll know that Allah is not just there before you achieve the thing. He's also there after you achieve the thing. Because the only one that was always there before and will always remain is Allah. Everything else is temporary. So He said, if you want that thing that you achieve to remain, the only way is to connect yourself to the one who remains. If you connect yourself to Allah, then that thing you have will remain. So then I went to my Shaykh. I was like, Shaykh, I'll be honest, this is hitting my heart. But you know what it's also making me feel? It's making me feel like I don't want to do the work. Because it's not from me. And he was like, Imran, Allah wants you to worship Him through doing the work. These are two acts of worship. To completely attach your heart to Allah, to know none of this is from me. But at the same time, to run the wheel. Same time to do the work. That to do the work despite knowing that this work won't bring the effect is an act of worship. Because it's hard to plow the seed with your hand and then say, it wasn't me. Because it becomes an illusion, right? So actually, the essence of tawakkul is to do the work at the highest level. Because the Prophet ﷺ would do the work at the highest level. But then, to say, but Ya Allah, I can't do anything.
It's like that man, innit, who was told you can enter Jannah because of the mercy of Allah. He
Yeah.
said, I don't want to enter because of the mercy of Allah. I want to enter because of my own actions.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, yeah, all right, cool. Bring all of his actions, put them on this side of the scale. Bring the blessing that one of his eyes, that blessing, put it on the other side of the scale. The blessing of the eye far outweighed anything that he did. They said, throw them into the hellfire.
Right. And then he said, no, Allah, through your mercy, I'll go through your mercy. But here's the thing, this is the point I want to get at. I asked the Shaykh, so okay, cool, I hear you. But how do I know that my tawakkul is real without getting distracted by my efforts? Because that's all I see.
Wow, powerful question.
Yeah, he gave me a powerful answer. He said, Imran, Allah will place you in situations where there won't be any opportunity for any efforts. And it's at that time where your tawakkul will be exposed.
Wow.
He said, like Musa alayhi salam, when he ran from Fir'aun, and he ran and he ran and he ran and he ran, he came to the sea. And there's no way, there's no ship, there's no boat. He said, the people said to him, Inna la mudrakun. Fir'aun's gonna catch us. He said, Kalla, inna ma'i rabbi sayahdeen. He said, never, my Lord is with me, He will guide me. And Allah split the sea for him. It's like when the Prophet ﷺ was doing the hijrah, and he took all of the means, all of the efforts to go, take the route, had the guide, did everything, ﷺ, and yet they still caught up with him. He's in the cave. If they looked underneath their feet, at their feet, they would have seen the Prophet ﷺ and Abu Bakr and executed them. Abu Bakr is scared. What did the Prophet say? La takhaf, inna Allah ma'ana. Don't be scared, Allah is with us. He said, there's moments where there's no means. And you know what? I mean, I had one of those moments. I'm going to mention this. Maybe it's too much for today. Maybe in a different podcast. But I had one of those. It's going to take us in different directions, different topic. But I had one of those moments. I had one of those moments where I was like, you know, Ya Rab, like what a miracle, right? Something that happens that's out of the natural order of things. Like, I remember situation, I saw a situation, and I was like, this is it. And I said, Ya Rab, only you can help me. Allah did a miracle in front of my eyes.
SubhanAllah.
And I'm a sinner. Subhanallah. My Lord is merciful.
We all are. Allah protect us and forgive us.
Literally, I'll just be a fly on the wall on this podcast.
Huh?
We wanted to talk about IDF, Trump, deep sea, like forget all
But
that,
it's a
man.
full 180. You know
Yeah.
why? You know why? It's a full circle. It's a full 360. You know why? Because despite all of that might and the strength that those guys had, you guys know that Netanyahu just had his prostate removed 2-3 days ago.
Seriously.
Netanyahu?
His prostate was removed,
Wow.
and he's now having heart issues.
Wow.
Yeah, akhi. Allah is watching.
Wow.
Allah is watching. Allah is watching.
Till the next update. You know, had his prostate removed.
Removed surgically, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened to the other one before him?
He died in a coma or something, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Died in bed like a vegetable, man.
Exactly. Even that's how Ataturk died.
Really?
Yeah. Like he had flies or like ants coming out of all his holes in the body.
Who?
Ataturk, Kemal Ataturk, the atheist guy, the atheist founder of Turkey, modern day Turkey.
Wow.
You remember, man, the guy who claimed to be the prophet?
All the enemies of Allah.
Man died in the toilet or something.
Yeah, in his feces on the bed. He had a nappy.
Yes, it's Mirza, right?
Yeah, in his feces in a nappy.
Anyway, wrap it up.
Lie, man. You wrap it out, bro.
This is too powerful, man.
Yeah.
We should do 2-hour sessions, therapeutic
We're
sessions.
gonna have to.
I don't know where y'all gonna put this at, man, but clip my parts out, man. Between the brothers, man. They gonna come after me like Imran.
No, you know what we do? We bleep all the names. Make it sound more dramatic. We bleep all the names.
I'm not bleeping nothing. I ain't afraid. Please, I'm waiting for your guys to come. Shoot, I'm not worried about cowards after me. You know, inshallah. I'm just joking, bro.
Barakallah feek. Hopefully you guys benefit from the episode of Chai My Bye. With that said, we'll see you in the next one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.
On that note, guys, if you want to learn the skills of business yourself, then we have something for you as well. We've got something called the Righteous Rich Skills Academy. Just look at the type of money that these new entrepreneurs are making. These are guys that don't necessarily have a business that's like fully fledged, that's making 5, 10, 20K a month, but they benefited off what? Our just training and our live calls within our community. Just look on screen. This brother made 2K, this brother made 1K, then his second 1K, then his third 1K, all in the space of 2 weeks. This brother bought 1.5K sale. Guys, these brothers are making money. Allah Mabadi, right? Brother Munir here increases revenue by 50%. Allah Mabadi.
Been in Righteous and Rich for about a month. My revenue was down quite a bit. You know, at the time that I joined, I wasn't even able to pay my bills. And so by Allah's permission, I've been able to produce much better content, get much better at just generating leads. And so my revenue has gone up by 50%. So alhamdulillah, I appreciate you guys for helping me navigate this competitive market. I'm very optimistic that it's not just going to be 50%. Soon it's going to be 3x. Inshallah, bidnillah. So jazakallah khair.
This is just on the back of the Righteous Rich Skills Academy. So if you want to learn these skills, click the link below, Skills Academy. Peace.